Alrighty, welcome back. Episode 212 of Chaotically Intolerant. We got a new face on today. Josh from the Kabloomski Sports Show. He does a lot of work with Spring Hill Sports Cards, The Cycle, and Four Downs. Go check them out. But before that, make sure to like, comment, subscribe here, and let's go. All right, Josh, let's jump into it here. We have not had baseball since Sunday. We did have the All-Star game. We had the Home Run Derby that we were live for. That was pretty sick. But we have not had baseball real baseball since Sunday. Give me your takes on the All-Star game. What do you think of the swing off first? Because I know it was pretty universal. It seemed universally hated.
Right. Well, yes and no. Honestly, I'm just itching for baseball to be back first and foremost, right? But the All-Star team, I think that they did it right. I think the way that they did it, as far as the MLB, the setup, the whole nine, I was a fan of the swing off. At this point, it became entertainment, not more of a game that mattered. It was an exhibition game right at the end of the day. So it was for the entertainment for the fans. They did it right. I wish they would have taken that advice for the Home Run Derby instead of doing the 0.2 inches or whatever it was for Kyle Roddy. But I digress. I thought it was a good experience and a good showing for the MLB.
Yeah, the All-Star game I did not watch. I was watching Superman for the third time during the All-Star game. I had to make a sacrifice. I knew I had watched the Home Run Derby. I was like, you know what? I'm going Superman for the third time. Got to do it. But yeah, the Home Run Derby, I love the Home Run Derby. I had fun watching the Home Run. This was a good derby this year. But it still just feels not right when you don't have the best home run hitters hitting. I mean, where's Aaron Judge? Where's Aaron Judge? And I know he has his own reasons, but it feels a little cheaper without those big guys.
No, I'm with you on that. I think that kind of carries over to like the NBA as well. When you talk about like those big guys for the slam dunk contest, where are those guys? Like we want to see LeBron, we want to see those high flying Ja Morants, all those guys. The same with baseball. I'm with you. The big boppers need to be in there. That's why I tip my hat to Kyle Raleigh. Not only did he performed well, obviously being the winner, but that's what you want, right? The guy that leads the league in home runs. Or, if you're the top five or whatever it may be, you should be in this showing. You should be able to give the fans what they want and put on a good show.
Yeah. And again, I mean, it's entertainment for the fans. The sport doesn't really exist without the fans. So
Correct.
You would think you would want to give the fans what they want, see the best showing. But we get guys like Jazz Chisholm showing up instead of Aaron Judge. Jazz Chisholm. Swaggiest appearance,
of course,
in the Home Run Derby. Absolutely, I'll give that to him. Swaggiest appearance,
right.
But I will not say anything further than that. Further.
Listen, honestly, like you said, one of the swaggiest guys in the league. And a lot of people, especially when we were watching it, in our chat rooms, there were a lot of people that were picking him as like a little sleeper dark horse, and I kind of jumped on that train for a little bit there, but then I realized like, no, this guy is not what he's going to be wanting to do here. So, but shout out to him for actually going out there and putting on a little bit of a show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, I'm not hitting 3 home runs. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. All right, let's jump into our usual stuff. Instead of players of the week, how everyone knows how we do it, we're doing players of the first half.
Okay.
So we're going to be looking at the entire first half today. I'm going with my player of the first half. I mean, this is the chalk, the easy pick. This is the one that everyone looks to. I mean, it's Aaron Judge. And listen, it's not only the stats that he's put up, but this is a mid-ass Yankee team. I'm sorry. This was not a first place Yankee team, but Aaron Judge was pretty much single-handedly carrying this team. I mean, he single-handedly pushed the game into extras against the Red Sox a few weeks ago on Garrett Crochet, or else he would have had what he had against the Rays, a complete game shutout. But obviously Aaron Judge exists, so he's not going to let that happen.
But you put that in there, by the way. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. 35 home runs, 355 average, 81 ribbies, an 1195 OPS in this first half of the year. And again, this is just a mid-ass Yankee team. This is not an exciting Yankee team, not one you should be scared of whatsoever. But Aaron Judge is that player that single-handedly does that.
Oh, yeah. And I hate to kind of agree with you on that too, because as we both know, whenever we give kudos or flowers to a Yankees, it just icks my soul. So,
yeah.
But you got to give credit where credit's due. At the end of the day, we're fans, and we're fans of the game of baseball, and we're going to give credit where credit's due. And that's why I respect you in this platform. Aaron Judge, Aaron Judge to me has been exceeding expectations, man. You're talking about a Triple Crown winner. At any point, every year he's up in there in contention for, not just those three big categories, but just a multitude of category statistics that he just spearheads. And I give a lot of crap for him playing at Yankee Stadium. It's a high school field. We all get it. And a pop fly, anybody can hit a pop fly and it's going to go out in that field. I get it. We all get it. But at the end of the day, you still got to produce. And when you're the captain of the Yankees, that takes your level of what you need to expectation and your standard up to like multiple levels. Because if not, the people of New York will definitely let you know. And I think he's just exceeded those expectations from day one. But mostly this year has been quietly just doing his thing, Aaron Judge things. And I don't want to be the guy that's taking it for granted, like greatness for granted. But I mean, you got to tip your hat off to him for what he's doing and continuing doing for that team.
Oh, and again, I'm going to be the first one to shit on Yankee Stadium and say it's a little kid ballpark, all that. Same. But I mean, he still has to produce in 29 other 100%. Ballparks. Mm-hmm. And he is doing that. And up until that Red Sox-Yankees series at Fenway, he was flirting with 400. He was flirting with Ted Williams, with true greatness. And then he was like 0 for whatever. He had like 9 strikeouts in that series, which was fucking awesome to see that. But he was still, he's still at 355. He's batting 355, and he had a stretch where he went like 0 for 10 or 0 for 12. That's pretty crazy.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah. So Aaron Judge, very deserved. I don't think we can go into this, though, without mentioning Cal Raleigh. 38 home runs from a catcher, a fucking catcher. Catchers aren't supposed to hit. They're not supposed to hit like that. So I'm mentioning him.
Yes. And honestly, I was going to pick him as my hot player. But I just don't want to beat a dead horse with that one. I've gone on record on multiple platforms. Kyle Raleigh is the man. Anytime that there is a catcher that's doing anything on the offensive side of the ball, they are going to be exploited because that's not normal for us. For us catchers, if we're batting our weight, ladies and gentlemen, that is a good season for us. And if you can see, a lot of us are pretty hefty. So it's something that just your batting average is saying a lot. For him to go on and get the home runs, RBIs, and still kind of, producing for his team, which hasn't, I'm sure you're going to be talking about later on, is just tremendous in what he's doing quietly, both sides of the plate. And then him just controlling his pitching staff, just a complete specimen of a catcher. I'm happy for him this year. But real quick, before I turn it back over to you, my guy that I picked, though, staying in our division, I guess, since you picked Aaron Judge. I didn't want to do like a chalk or say like, show here and things like that. I went with Jackson Holiday. Now, hear me out, guys. Jackson Holiday is not a big time name. He's not going to wow you. He's not going to be the leading vote getter for All-Star. But when we're talking about this year and the front half of this year so far, all right, the sample size of what we've gotten from him, not only is he a top 3 defensive second baseman, but we got to take into account of what happened last year. The Orioles kind of rushed him in a little bit, big hype, big expectations, and he shit the bed. It is what it is, right? He did not get to the caliber that he wanted to be at personally and where the organization wanted him at. So they dropped him back down, and it did not look good for him. Honestly, I felt kind of bad. And that point has happened to a multitude of players. That point can either make or break you in your future years and your upcoming years. And this guy has taken it with a chip on his shoulder, came out this year, became an all-star, if I'm not mistaken, starting second baseman. He's batting a 259 batting average right now, 38 RBIs with 12 home runs. Okay. That's not jumping out the page. But when you talk about a second baseman, that's not bad. The guy has more home runs than the guy that I'm going to talk about later on in the show. And that's supposed to be getting paid lots of buku money to be hitting home runs. So a second baseman is doing his thing. The stat that sticks out to me real quick, and I'll let you go, is that his strikeout percentage. Last year, there was a big thing about him not seeing the ball well, or his pitch selection, his swing path, and the whole nine. And it seemed rushed. That's why I said the process of him coming up to the league was a little bit rushed. Now, he went back to the lab, did what he had to do, found his swing, shortened it, whatever it was. But last year, he was striking out at 33%. Okay, so that's, one in every third at bat, however you look at it. This year, he dropped it down to 21%. That's a big, big difference. And in just a 1 year time frame, and for him to do that at such a young age goes a long way. And he's going to have a bright future. And he's going to continue doing the success that he has the rest of this year.
I'm going to let the comments address this one. If you have a problem with that one in the comments, let us know, and maybe we'll answer it.
Let me have it.
To the team of the first half.
Okay.
I think there's a few you can really look at. I mean, the LA Dodgers, but that was expected. They're supposed to do this. I'm going with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
The Boston Red Sox were the team expected to win the American League East. They have been, as of last few weeks, they've been really good, but overall they've been a pretty average ball club. But you see this Toronto Blue Jay team, they're in first place in the East. They just jumped the Yankees. They are only a game ahead of the Yankees, or 2 games ahead of the Yankees, but still, I mean, this is a really good ball club that they're going to have to add, I think, at the deadline, but just keep it going. Yeah, they definitely will. The only thing that worries me about them is that plus 17 run differential. That's really close. I mean, if you're a first place team, you need to be at least in the 50s, at the plus 50s. So maybe that is just a sign that they're not going to continue this, but it's fun while it lasted, and I do want to give props to the Blue Jays because, they're a division rival, but I hate the Blue Jays the least. I think they have great branding. Toronto's great branding. Canada, when it's Canada Day, holy shit, that stadium just goes red. It's awesome.
It's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going the Toronto Blue Jays with my team of the first half.
Nice pick. I think I'm going to piggyback off of you a little bit as well. First of all, is it John Schneider? Am I saying that right? Their manager. Coach of the year. You lock me in on that. What he's doing is phenomenal. How he handles himself is phenomenal. A lot of people want to look at how he gets thrown out and ejected and stuff like that. As a coach, sometimes that is strategic, guys. Sometimes you want to get tossed and thrown out to spark a fire in our team, whether it be that day or just in the season in general. And I don't know if he's done that most of the time, but he has fought for his team, and his team has responded very, very well. It sucks. Like you said, it's tough in our division. It's very, very tough with the competition and the teams that we have, and the type of level of competition that we have in our division. But for him to not only be in first place now, but to leapfrog, us, the Rays, the Yankees, and a hot Red Sox team, which I was going to mention you guys as well. Nobody was hotter going into the All-Star break than you guys. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 10 in a row. Yeah, and sweeping 2 division teams going into the All-Star break. So that was huge for you guys. I think that you guys can carry that more into the season rather than Toronto holding on to the lead, if that makes sense.
They're going to have a really tough time carrying it. They have Philly, LA, and Houston, I want to say, coming out of the break. So, we did play some weaker the Cubs as well. Holy shit. Cubs, Philly, Dodgers, Minnesota, not a horrible ball club. Right. Houston, Kansas City, San Diego, and Houston again. And then you get a break with Miami and Baltimore, but then you go right back with New York for 4. So, it's going to be tough. That's not an easy opening, but this is where you get tested. This is where you see if you're a real ball club.
Chicago this weekend, it's not going to be an easy welcome back to the league or back to the season.
Absolutely not
for you guys. So.
No. I do want to mention the Detroit Tigers, of course. Last year they were that dark horse to maybe win the American League, and now they have just gone and they've just gone, and they've continued what they were doing. They are the best team in America in the American League right now, even without Jackson Jobe, kind of a young guy that you would have expected to heavily contribute to this team, but they do it despite him being
Right.
gone. So, and we will have more Tigers talk, by the way, just coming up. National League, I mean, you can mention the Cubs, but it's the Dodgers right now. And I don't care about records. It's the Dodgers. They're going to hit their stride at the right time. They have been.
Not only that, real quick though, we just can't brush over the Dodgers just being, oh, they're the Dodgers. Guys, we got to realize they had at one point, 14 pitchers on the IR? You know what I mean? And for them to still not only hold their lead in the division, but fighting off great opponents, not only in their own division, but in the league itself, and just producing. I get they got a stacked team over there, but at the end of the day, you still got to, play the game and stay to your level of standard. And they have been there the whole year and held it. If you want to compare apples to apples, the Yankees were the other, stacked team, so, quote unquote, and they kind of faltered. Whereas these guys had a big blunder with their injuries on their pitching staff, and they still kept it moving. So shout out to them. And yes, the Dodgers are for real.
Yeah, they are 3-7 in their last 10, but I don't really think that
Nah.
it's still the Dodgers. I'm sorry. Like, you can say what you want. They could just sneak into the playoffs as like the 7 seed, and I wouldn't doubt them for a second. Doesn't matter. All right, we're gonna get into the negatives here.
Okay, talk to me.
Bum ass player of the first half.
Okay,
going with Willy Adames.
No, I like
Willy Adames. The Giants did rescind that big offer for another shortstop in the offseason. They signed Willy Adames to a 7-year contract worth $182 million. This is the year you would really want to come out and show out and say, hey, thank you for giving me that money. Thank you for believing in me. He's posted he slashed 220, 307, 373 with 12 homers, and he leads baseball in errors with 13. Not good. Not good at all.
That's crazy. I did not know that number. His defensive glove is what kind of got him to the league and got him to where he need, to succeed in the league. So that's crazy.
13 errors. Yeah,
wow.
Not good. Who do you have?
So I have, and this is going to be another one that's going to stir the pot in the comment section, which I'm here for, baby. Let me have it. But it's going to be the $750 million man. What's his contract? Juan Soto. Guys, listen, when you get paid that money, you have to at least hit more home runs than second basemen in the MLB. Like I said, Jackson Holliday's hitting 12. Your boy Juan Soto has 11. All right. His stat line right now is 233, 361, and 438. That's not what Mets brass wants to see when they spend that chunk of money on that guy. Okay. Not only is it that, I'm kind of picking on him too, because not only are you the quote unquote face of the organization, which that can be debated on, but when you're the big guy and the big guy in the lineup, you got to be feared, right? You got to be somebody that they don't want to pitch to, they want to pitch around, and you got to make sure you have the right players in front of you and behind you. Guys, Juan Soto is not fearing nobody. They are pitching to him because they don't want to pitch to the guys in front of them or behind them, whether it be Lindor, Nemo in front, or the polar bear behind them, whatever it may be, whatever they're doing in that lineup at that day and time, they're going to take their chances and pitch to those guys, or not pitch to those guys, and pitch to Juan Soto. And it hasn't backfired on the pitching staff yet. So this guy has been paid so much money, and I get it. Give him a chance. He's played in New York before. He was just there last year. So this New York media, this New York fan base, this is nothing new to them. This is not an excuse. This is not something that's saying like, hey, I just can't handle this type of pressure. No, Bubba, you played last year and you performed in it. So what you're doing now in Queens is not fair for that organization. And you really need to pick it up for that organization because, guys, they're a game and a half or a half game behind the Phillies, if I'm not mistaken. They're paying
half a game.
They're paying the big bucks to this guy to get them over that hump. And right now, it's not happening. They are carrying him. So he is my bum of the year. And I'm gonna love hearing the comment section and getting thrashed by this. But it is what it is. When you got that high expectation, when you got those standards, when you're getting paid that much money, you got to produce. And I'm sorry, 11 home runs in the front half of the season when you have a catcher that hit 39 or whatever it is not acceptable.
Yeah. I'm going to let the comments talk about that one too.
Thank you. Let me have, I got tough skin, baby. Let me have them.
I will say you can't complain about the pressure of Queens when you played in the Bronx a year before in the World Series.
Correct.
Where you lost.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate pressure right there. Queens has a lot of pressure, but maybe not as much as the Bronx.
Not as much.
To my bum-ass team of the first half, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. You can go with the Colorado Rockies. You can go with the Chicago White Sox. I mean, there's some bad teams out there. There are some bum-ass teams out there. But this one, I'm going to go a little different. I'm going with a team that consistently lets down. So it's not exactly a shock that this happened. I'm going with the Seattle Mariners.
Okay.
How in the world has this team fallen so far that they're just letting the Astros win the division again? They're just, the Astros are never going to quit because they play in the bum-ass American League West, where Seattle, they're going to give you a fight at the beginning of the year, but it's just a tune-up. That's all it is. It's a tune-up for Houston for a late maybe battle for the 1 seed. Because the American League West will be theirs. It's going to be theirs, and every few years it might be the Texas Rangers, but it's going to be theirs. The Angels aren't going to give you a fight. The Athletics don't want to spend the money to give you a fight. They don't even have a real stadium. They don't even have a real And I'm talking to a Rays fan who also doesn't have a real stadium, but I'm going to see it. You have a catcher that hit 38 home runs in the first half.
Exactly.
You have a plus 32 run differential, and you're sitting 5.5 back of Houston, just giving them the division. At the beginning of June, weren't they like 6 games up at some point?
Right.
They were 6 games up. They were one of the best teams in baseball. And again, they do this year after year, and they really made me believe this year. The other years I've been like, no, they're going to fall. You know they're going to falter. Yeah. This year I really thought, man, Cal Raleigh hitting 38 home runs, that has to help propel them. And they just haven't. They just have been a bum-ass team, really the last month where it really mattered. And they fooled me again, and that's why I'm just so angry at them that's why I'm giving them the bum-ass team of the first half.
And I'm with you, and I'm riding that bus with you as well, because I was rooting for them as well. And I've been in your shoes where I'm just like, when are they going to let me down? Honestly, this year I thought that they were going to make moves already by this point. I honestly thought they'd make a move or two for a pitcher, an arm or two. I feel like that's their missing piece. I really thought that their outfield core was going to be there, led by Randy. There's just a lot of question marks.
They have no offense besides Cal. They cannot score runs besides Cal.
And that's not saying much because we always talk about him being just a catcher, right? So that's a lot that he's doing back there. And yes, you're right. The offensive side, I thought for sure Randy was going to produce. And I don't want to count them out yet. They are definitely the bum. They're definitely the bum of the front half. I definitely don't want to count them out. They're going to make, I would assume they make a nice, move for an arm or two, and hopefully it kicks back up because I really don't want the Astros to win it. And not only that, they can really take off in that division and make a splash coming into late September, early October. My team that I picked though was one that I had high hopes for, even though they were in our division, and I hate to keep on talking about our AL East, excuse me. But it's what it is. Baltimore Orioles, to me, coming in this year, if it wasn't going to be the Yankees to win our division, I had them, honestly. I love their young nucleus of players that they got coming up. You know, the 22, 23-year-olds, Adley Rushman behind the plate. You know how I am about my catchers. If they have a good catcher, the team is going to follow. I believed in Jackson Holliday this year, so I'm happy. And I picked him for my star first half of this season. But my thing is when you're sitting at 43 and 52 in our division, and I get our division's tough, but you were supposed to be up there in the top 3 mix, okay? Number one. Number two is your pitching staff. I get there's been some injuries here and there and stuff like that. But they have, I want to say top 5, if not top 3 farm systems. And with that being said, They have tools to make moves, to fill in the void, stay afloat, and stay competitive in our division. So that way, when their big guns come in, they can make a move and make a push. We've seen other organizations, the Angels, I believe it was, the Athletics, they were doing it too with their young players. They're fast tracking some of these guys. Okay, they're going in, getting drafted last year, the year before, and these guys are getting some playing time up in the show. So I thought that's what they were going to do, but they kind of took a different approach about it, and to me, it backfired. So if I had to pick between the Seattle Mariners, which I was, in the Baltimore Orioles, I would say that one to me faltered a little bit more. They fumbled the bag because they have a young nucleus, whereas Seattle, they're just missing a few pieces to make it work. Baltimore, they are the pieces, and they're not making it work.
Yeah. I was a little mistaken on Seattle. They are 8th in baseball in runs scored this year, and the pitching has not showed up. So that was their identity, though. Pitching was their identity, and suddenly it's flipped. So what happened to the pitching? Maybe you can answer that in the comments.
That's
all right. Yeah, let's go to our surprise player of the first half.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with a guy who, I mean, listen, we thought his career might be over the past couple of years.
Yes.
And he's just had he hasn't been tearing the cover off the ball by any means, but he's been more than serviceable. And that's Javi Baez.
Oh, yeah.
He is a major contributor to the best team in the American League, slashing 275, 310, 444. He has a 2.1 WAR versus at the past 2 seasons, he was never over a 1.0 WAR. He's got a 752 OPS, and he's an all-star for the first time in 2019. Yes. That is a comeback season if you want to talk about it. And I'm happy for the guy. Good for him finding his way back. He has no outfield errors as well. He does have some errors in the infield, but at least in the outfield, he's getting the job done. Even with that weird diving catch that he had earlier in the year. Do you remember that? Or he misplayed the ball, but then had to dive for it. And then Major League Baseball posted it as a highlight when it was a clear misplay that he just recovered well from.
Yes.
So, but I'm happy for Javi. I'm glad to see it. And, something about the Tigers being good is just, maybe it's just right. I think it's just that old English lettering. Like when they're bad, it's like, what's the point? It just looks stupid to me. But when they're at least contending, I think baseball is good. So give me Javi, surprise player of the first half.
Yeah, El Mago. It translates to the magician. So I'm actually, as I told you, as some of our listeners know, I'm going to the game this weekend. I'm going to Wrigley, and I will be sporting and rocking my Javi Baez jersey out there. So shout out to him. But really, though, man, what he has done this year, you rattled off the numbers, you rattled off his line. But let's just take it a step further. This guy was going to be working at Wawa next year as probably the manager, if not the server, behind the counter making sandwiches over there, because this guy was nobody was gonna touch him with a 10-foot pole in any other league. He might have got an opportunity maybe in Japan or Puerto Rico or something like that, but in MLB was not gonna happen. So shout out to him for really taking it and betting on himself. You know what I mean? And being a key contributor to a first place team. It's not like he's just doing it and just having all the individual accolades and just being a part of a shitty team. He's contributing, and he's contributing with great fashion and great statistics. Like you said, I did not know he did not have an error in the outfield. That is great. And real quick, the hardest play in the outfield, first of all, when you transition to any position, it's tough, okay? But furthermore, it is tough to go from infield to outfield. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's just the outfield. You just kind of pop flies. The hardest thing to do defensively sometimes is reading a ball that is right at you, that is hit directly at you. And don't let that thing be knuckling, because it's even going to make it even worse. So the fact that he's out there with making no errors, making great plays, being the magician that he is, and then going back and then producing on the offensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the plate is phenomenal, man. The fact that he's even, his pitch selection, the way he's swinging the ball, he's making good, solid contact. He's not missing by 10 feet, So it goes and it shows the character that he had to really take it upon himself in this offseason to really put in the work, really figure out what his holes and weaknesses were. And not only that, and make the proper adjustments to be better for himself as a player, but better as a teammate and a contributor for a first place team, which is phenomenal. So I'm super pumped for him. I've always been a fan of his. I've seen him play in high school. I coached with him in high school. So I followed this kid from the top to bottom, and he is somebody that deserves this. He really, really deserves at least a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance, but he really, really deserves it. So I'm proud of him and pumped for him.
Yeah, and I think especially his time in Chicago and being on those winning teams is going to help a young team like Detroit settle themselves when they get to playoff time, when they get to that crunch time, so maybe they don't squander the opportunity. He knows how to win. He's been a winner before, and he can instill those practices in this young Tigers team to help them really maximize what they are able to do on the field this year and in years to come too.
Right. And real quick, though, I forgot to mention, I forgot the actual statistic, but he is one of a handful of players, I want to say 3 players, that started the All-Star game in 3 different positions. So I'm sure our followers and our viewers can fact check me on that or correct me on that. But that's a tremendous feat in itself, playing 3 positions and starting in the All-Star game. So shout out to him.
All right. Well, let's we're going to go into the second half unless you have anything else to say.
No, it's been a great first half. I'm pumped. Like I said, I've been itching to get that started too.
All right. Give me let's see. Where are we at on time? All right, we're at 30 minutes. All right. So we're going to go through the series of the opening weekend of the second half. We're getting into crunch time now. Deadline is in a couple weeks. This is going to be a big couple weeks that's really going to shape the deadline. We're going to see how teams are going to because the thing that drives me crazy is I hear stuff from reporters all the time in early June. We're going to be buyers at the deadline. We're going to be sellers at the deadline. We're going to do this. You guys don't know what the fuck you're doing until you really know. Yeah, until you know how you're playing in July. I think July is really going to tell everything about your team. Yeah. So the Red Sox are apparently buyers at the deadline. The Chicago Cubs are hosting the Red Sox this weekend. Just give me a sentence on maybe what to look for in this series, and we'll do this for each series. This is what I usually do with Mike. Just give me a sentence on what to look for in this series.
Chicago, Boston, you're saying?
Yep.
Pitching,
at Wrigley.
Pitching. I want to see the matchups. I'm excited to see the matchups, and I'm going to see how, with their arms taking a break, especially for you guys, Boston Red Sox, how that's going to carry on over. So I'm interested to see how the pitching is going to be.
Yeah, the momentum needs to continue. You gotta find a way to keep that momentum going. It's also the first game on Friday back from the break. So I think Red Sox Cubs at Wrigley Field is a pretty awesome game to have back from the break.
I'm pumped.
And I'm sure you're pumped. When are you leaving?
Tomorrow morning at 9:00. So I'll be there. I'll be at tomorrow's game and Saturday's game. So viewers, look for me. I'm going to be in the bleachers somewhere. I'm going to be starting the cup snake. So I'm planning to be the guy that's at the bottom of the snake. So look out for me.
Fuck yeah, man. All right. White Sox Pirates. Is there anything interesting at all in this series? Oh, my God.
Can we get a win for Paul Skeens? That's all I want. Can we win for Paul Skeens? When you look at what his line is, ERA, strikeouts, whip, the whole 9, and you put Tarek Skubal's numbers side by side, you would not know whose is whose. They almost have identical stat lines and stat numbers, but the big one is the wins.
No Skeens in this series. No Skeens in this series. Man, okay, so it's not possible.
Okay, got it.
All right, we have Angels, Phillies, and Philadelphia. I mean, this in Philly, yeah. I think this is one of those series that if you're a real first place team, you just have to take 2 of 3. I mean, the Angels are actually playing competitive baseball right now. But
and not only that, this is going to be a series too that can extend on the lead for the from the Mets, and the veteran leadership for Philly, I think, is where it needs to kick in now. This is where you take the young guys and show them, hey, this is what we do at this time. You know, the Shorbers, the Harpers, the Turners of the world, they need to start taking these guys under the wing and get it done.
Giants Blue Jays in Toronto. Rafael Devers' first visit to a former division rival, Toronto.
Really?
Yeah, Justin Verlander going Friday night. He's 0-7 with a 4.70 ERA against Chris Bassett, 9-4 with a 4.12.
The Giants have a lot riding on these upcoming series, as well, because they're fighting for a wild card spot. And Toronto, they're doing their thing in first place. And we were talking about the run differential earlier in the show. I think that you said they're like a plus 17. This is where shit hits the fan. This is where you guys are going to have to really make that number a lot bigger. And a team like San Francisco, who is always around in October, September, October timeframe, they know what to do to get to that level. They're like the Chihuahua that never wants to stop barking. They are there. So I think this would be a good little testament for Toronto to see if they're for real, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Reds, Mets, you were talking about a young team playing an NL East team that's fighting for the first place spot in the NL East. Well, this is another one of those. Yep. The Reds are led by Tito, playing, again, some good baseball. Ellie De La Cruz has been not completely useless. And it doesn't feel like he's wasted, basically, on this Reds team. And the Mets, I mean, again, this is one where you have to put your foot down and say, we're not letting this scrappy team come in and take 2 of 3 and push us further down. We can't let that happen.
Right. I think that Cincinnati is a tough situation. They're not there yet, but Tito has them where they need to be. I think that they're going to be making some moves. Elliott's going to be that guy, but Tito's the right man for the right for the time being. I don't think that they make a push past this postseason or into the postseason. But they're going to be fighting and clawing. I think that Tito gets them to where, they're at least a competitive heading down the stretch.
Tito has managed both Ohio teams.
Oh, really?
Pretty cool. Yeah, man of Ohio. Athletics, Guardians. The Guardians, I really think this is like the last gasp. They have to. I think they have to take all 3. Honestly, coming out of the break, if you want to see them buy at the deadline, if you want to see them make a push.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, man, because I had high hopes for them. I really did. I thought that they, especially after their campaign last year, that they were going to make the proper adjustments and that nucleus was going to really form over there. So it's unfortunate that they're not even in the mix over there. So I'm more interested on that factor on this series, if they can turn it around or not. That's what I'm really looking forward to, because that division is still, I don't know what, they're seven games back or whatever I want to say. So they still
12.
12. Oh, well, then never mind. I just say.
Well, and Minnesota's 11.5 back, and they're in second place. And so they're very in a wild card battle, but they are 4.5 back of the wild card, Seattle, currently.
Right. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I had high hopes for them this year.
Yeah. Royals, Marlins, just, if you're Kansas City, honestly, they're in the same position as the Guardians. Yes. It's just win. Just keep winning. Give your guys competitive baseball. Give your front office a reason to say, let's buy.
Right. And they really, Kansas City really has to watch out here too. I know they're playing Miami, and Miami's quote unquote a cakewalk, but at the end of the day, teams like that are quote unquote cakewalks are trying to derail contenders. They're just trying to be that thorn in the side and, win 2 out of 3. They're not trying to go out there and win and sweep, but if they can make your life a living hell over there and you're a contender, these teams that's what they're doing. They got nothing to fight for. They know that they're not going to be winning a championship, not fighting for a division title. So they're really playing and fighting for their jobs and for the likelihood of, just being that thorn in somebody's side. So don't overlook when you play teams like this, Kansas City, because even though you guys are making a push or are going to try to make a push for your guys' division, teams like this, not only are they have to be won, but don't slip up and let them win 2 out of 3 on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yankees Braves. Good classic baseball matchup.
Yankees
Good
Braves,
old baseball matchup.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the Braves are just not really a good team this year. But I really could see Atlanta taking 2 of 3. I can see the Yankees tumbling a little bit more.
Same. Is this in Atlanta?
Yes.
All right, yeah.
Fresh off the All-Star game.
Fresh off the All-Star game. Yankees are kind of hungover. They're not used to the whole, big time field over there. So yeah, I'm thinking Atlanta. I think it's more of, can they can somebody give them a spark, Ronald Acuna Jr.? Can you be the one to kind of set this thing ablaze and kind of put this derailed train with high expectations at the beginning of the year, somewhat put it back together and get them back on track? Now, we're not trying to win a division or anything like that, but getting a series win against the Yankees, that's a big deal. And that could set you, for success the rest of the year.
Look for Ozzy Albies. Need something out of that guy. Anything.
For sure.
Please. Orioles Rays, this is all you here.
Yeah. As you know, I had the Orioles picked as my, the bum team of the first half. And I don't want to be a homer and just pick them again or pick the Rays over them. But listen, we had it rough. If there was a team that wanted the All-Star break to happen ASAP, it was us. We got ran through by the Boston Red Sox. Thank you very much. We got ran through by, I want to say the Yankees as well. But it was a bad last couple weeks leading into the All-Star break. So we really, really needed a break. Now, this series could set us up for success in the future. Is it going to make or break us divisionally wise? Yes, because it's a division opponent. But I think that this is where we got to get our pitching staff right and have our offensive lineup correspond with our pitchers. I don't think that Baltimore is going to be a big factor, but they go into that realm of the Miami Marlins, being that team that just wants to, mess people's lives up. And they could easily derail us and bring us back down in the standings as well.
Yeah. Tigers Rangers.
Good
Tigers
one.
just do what you keep doing. Honestly,
Right.
There's not really much to say. And the Rangers, again, this is there's so many of these American League teams that are just hanging around 500, and you don't know what they're gonna do until you see how they perform these next couple weeks. There's,
Right.
I mean, how many teams are within like 5 games of?
Oh,
It's basically
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 games or 6 teams within 5 games of Seattle for that final wild card spot. The only other 3 are Baltimore, the Athletics, and the White Sox in the cellar right now.
Right.
There's so many American League teams that just have a shot, but you got to see just a little bit more for them to really make that push at the deadline.
Yeah, and the Rangers are not a bad team. They got a nice little young nucleus over there. I don't think they have what it takes. The Tigers are for real. At the beginning, I thought that the Tigers were going to be like a fluke team, where they don't do, they kind of like go on a streak and they kind of will fizzle out or fall off. But they're for real, top to bottom, pitching staff, offense, defensively, they are for real. Are they the team to beat? At this point, we have to talk about them as being the team to beat. Do I see them as that? No, but they are a for real team and a for real contender. And I think that this train continues to roll.
Yeah. I want to see the Rangers take 2 out of 3. If the Rangers take 2 out of 3, I would start to believe in that team again.
Nice.
Twins Rockies. If the Twins do not sweep the Rockies, ship Royce Lewis off to Boston right now.
Seriously.
Ship Royce Lewis off to Boston right now. If you cannot sweep the Rockies, you do not deserve to be buyers at the deadline. That's all I have to say.
I agree. Like that should be your focal point. But what was it like last year? Like the Carolina Panthers in the NFL, they were like the Grim Reaper. They were like, taking people's, if they beat you.
No,
like,
the Rockies they do not have any talent. They have no talent. The Panthers, you can at least point to Bryce Young and say, this is a young guy who does have talent. He's shown talent. There were other guys on the Panthers that had talent. Where is the talent on the Rockies? It's just, there's no, I mean, I'm sure there is. I'm not saying that out of malice, but good Lord, this is not, I don't even think that is equal, in my opinion. That's, no.
Okay, my bad. I was reaching there.
Yeah, you have to sweep. You have to sweep here. There's no
I
excuse
agree.
to not sweep.
I agree. All jokes aside, you have to.
Cardinals, Diamondbacks. Again, Cardinals on the right side of 500 right now. They've been an average team, but we're starting to see them maybe find a little bit of that footing. They're a game and a half back of San Francisco, and San Francisco is a half game back of San Diego for that final wild card spot in the National League. But again, it is a kind of less crowded wild card, obviously, in the National League. You have Cincinnati at 2.5 back, and then after that is Arizona at 5.5 back of San Diego. But Arizona, they can gain a lot of ground this weekend if they can gain a lot of ground here.
And I think they will. I think that they have the right pieces. They have some good arms in their bullpen, and on the starting side too, that can carry them a long way. And offensively, they got some studs that can really, carry the team. At least guide the youngsters up in the ranks. And anytime you have Corbin Carroll in your lineup, you got to compete. Real quick to the Cardinals as well. They're like like the Giants, where they're always around. You can never count them out. They're always going to find themselves either in a wild card spot, and if they do, they're going to cause havoc. So watch out for the Cardinals. You can never count them out. So this series is going to be one to watch for sure.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the starters. Arizona has not released any of their starters yet. No, they have not. I was trying to see if we were going to see Zach Gallen this weekend. He's somebody that you really look to. If the Diamondbacks are going to turn it around, Zach Gallen is going to turn it around as well. So that's something you're hoping for. Right. Astros, Mariners. I mean, why I will never pick the Mariners to win anything ever again. I'm expecting a sweep from the Astros. That's what I'm expecting. That's not what I want. I want the Mariners to go in there and take 3 right out of the break and say, you know what, we're not fucking done. We're not done with this, but I'm done. I'm done with the Mariners. Astros taking all 3.
Oh, God, how bad did that suck to say that out loud?
It's horrible.
I refuse to say that.
I'm sorry. This is the reasonable thing. This is the reasonable choice to make, that the Mariners will let you down again.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I've been there, and yes, unfortunately, I've been let down by them as well. But damn it, Seattle, we got to figure it out. Don't let the Astros crash those cans. Knock on those cans. Come on now.
All right, and then our final series of the weekend. There are no starters for this one. Brewers Dodgers in LA. Brewers are playing really damn good baseball right now. They're hitting that stride. And if they want to keep that momentum going, this is the perfect team to do it against in the LA Dodgers. Cubs also have a tough opponent in the Boston Red Sox right now, who are, they have a lot of momentum coming into this. This would be a great time to jump the Cubs again and take control of the Central. Yes. And the Dodgers, I don't care what happens in this series. It's still the LA Dodgers.
They're still going to be in it, right?
They are. They have everyone.
Yes.
You have everyone. You just can't count them out.
This series definitely is about the Brewers, obviously. Like you said, they're fighting for something. The Brewers from here on out are not going to be able to take a day off. Okay. They're not going to be able to, not even take a series off either, but because they're competing for, in Chicago. Chicago has a somewhat of a history of floundering towards the end of the season.
A little bit.
But I feel like it's a little bit different this year. So I really think it's more of, can the Brewers catch up with the Cubs rather than when are the Cubs going to shit the bed so the Brewers can, jump them. And I truly believe that. So, and the Brewers are hot, they got a tremendous amount of chemistry over there. Their pitching staff hitting their all cylinders. They're playing for something, and they know it. They know that they have to play good and in order to not only win the division, but make a stance into the playoffs and furthermore. But the Dodgers are the Dodgers. At the end of the day, they're going to be there. So whatever.
All righty. Well, that's going to wrap up the weekend. I'm really excited for the rest of the season. We have the trade deadline coming up. We might be doing some sort of live stream for the trade deadline as well.
Ooh, okay.
I got to talk with everyone, see what everyone has to say, but that would be pretty sick. I'd love to have that happen. So Make sure to go check out the Kabloomski Sports Show. Go check out Spring Hill Sports Cards. They have a new episode of The Cycle releasing today. Tonight, I'm working on that right now. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe here at Chaotically Intolerant. And we'll see you next week.